This is also a week when anything can happen, it's unpredictable, and Amina Mohammed, the Deputy Secretary General, has unfortunately been called on to attend something uptown, and she can't join us this afternoon. But Amina is a person, and many of you may know her, who casts a light and has a reach even when she's not in the room. So with your indulgence, I'd like to talk about her anyway, and maybe give you a little bit of a flavor of a few of the messages that I think she would have wanted to convey to this room in particular. So Amina is one of my favorite people on the planet. She's a woman I admire enormously, whose passion, determination, intelligence, impatience, guts, and sheer ferocity for action is widely known, always respected, sometimes feared, and in a good way. I first met her when she served on a high-level panel on global sustainability that was grappling and struggling with how to help countries, including how to push them, how to nudge them, how to inspire them to put themselves on a truly sustainable path. It was a few years ago, and that was the panel that first floated the idea of the Sustainable Development Goals, way before the SDGs were cool or anybody else had ever heard of them. And she threw down immediately on some of the toughest issues that we're still dealing with today. How to empower women when the rules of the game are stacked against them in so many ways. How to turn sustainable development from an agenda about aid to a summoning of solidarity and universality. How to tackle the great climate challenge of our time and turn it into a driver of decisive economic transformation and transition. And you all know her path after that. She was immediately tapped to advise former Secretary General Ban Ki-moon on how to take this idea of SDGs forward and make it real. She then went back to her own country of Nigeria to serve as Environment Minister, where she struggled with putting the SDGs into practice day in and day out. And after having left New York not too long ago, I know she personally found it difficult to return so soon. She had family pulls, her country pulled her, but she eventually was unable to resist the Secretary General's call to action because she realized what a consequential time this was, and she felt called to serve. Now, you know, the SDGs have a lot of mothers. They have a few fathers as well. And they have midwives and partners and collaborators, agitators, lots of cooks in the kitchen. And that's all wonderful. I was one of them. But I also think it's important to say, and for all of you to know, that we wouldn't have the goals without Amina. And in her, we also have one of our fiercest champions for change and for getting the goals done by 2030. So even when she's not in the room, she'll be in another, and I guarantee you she'll be busting a gut working on something that will never be unimportant. So I know it might seem a little bit weird to be talking about someone who's not here, but I wanted to do that because her example is important to all of us. Because we all have pulls, we all have priorities that tug us, distractions, confusions, but this is a time when, like Amina, we really are all called on to act. We're called on for common purpose, and we're called on to serve. You know, you began today with the haunting poem, I Still Rise, by the civil rights icon Maya Angelou. And at its heart, that's a poem about resistance and about struggle. But it also speaks to empowerment and determination and solidarity. Now, it was written at a different period, about a different set of challenges, but its words still resonate. And if we are to solve the persistent problems that afflict today's world, poverty, instability, inequality, and discrimination, then we too are going to have to struggle and remain steadfast and determined. You know, the SDGs had a difficult birth. They were forged in a difficult political climate, we're clearly still in one, with anxieties and tensions in various arenas and in the immediate aftershocks of the global financial crisis. That they were born at all is testament to their validity, their logic, and the urgency of achieving them. You know, and 2 years on, real progress is already being made. The SDGs have jumped from the General Assembly Hall to communities, to families, even to boardrooms around the world. And we can celebrate some notable wins, including on climate change, which is so intertwined with the global goals and our ability to reach them. And this week alone, we've seen important announcements on climate, on new partnerships, on nutrition, on health, on education, on how the private sector can mobilize to advance the SDGs and climate action. And of course, much remains to be done, especially to keep faith with our commitment, which we all made resolutely, to leave no one behind. Now, I know Amina is disappointed not to be here in particular because it is precisely people like you whose ideas, whose imagination, and whose impatience we need to mobilize. And I know she especially wanted to talk to you about partnerships, about finance and about innovation, and the new ways we need to work together to drive and deliver results. The things you've been discussing here all day. And we will find future opportunities for her to engage with you going forward. You know, the SDGs are ambitious. There is no point pretending otherwise. Progress will be hard and it will be a struggle. But where did lack of ambition ever get anyone? You know, if there was ever a time to summon our highest and best aspirations for our kids, for our families, for our communities, and our world, to rise and to rise together, this is surely it. So I just want to conclude by thanking all of you, thanking you for everything you do every day, for your leadership. Thank you for not minding that I'm not Amina Mohammed. I really am especially thankful for that. And can I ask you to give her a big round of applause that she will hear even from Soho, because I know she's listening.